What's up, guys? It's Josh here today, back to talk Kansas City Chiefs, of course, as always. And today I wanted to give my 5 keys to the matchup regarding the Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills this Sunday for the AFC Championship game. The Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the third straight AFC Championship game. They're the first AFC team in NFL history to do that. Very impressive, and I think the Chiefs will win. First of all, let me just give you my pick for this game. I think the Chiefs will win. I think it'll go a little something like kind of how the season has gone. The Chiefs come out, they make a statement, they take a pretty sizable lead, then the Buffalo Bills kind of make it interesting before the end, and then the Chiefs close it out with one more little dagger, and then that's it. Kind of how like a lot of the season has gone. But I'm going to give you my 5 keys to the game. So I just got 5. So as you guys know, most people have been subscribed to a while know that I have my own website, showmefootball.com. I write about the Chiefs. I write about Mizzou. I write about Battlehawks, most major Missouri football, right? But yeah, the Chiefs were one of the teams that I like to write about. So anyways, I actually wrote an article on this exact topic, and I'm basically just going to be reading a lot from there to you guys, but I also like to get content out to my YouTube fans, so that's what we're going to do. So let me start with point number 1. Mahomes' health. You know, that's the number one everything is watching for right now. They think, like, is Mahomes going to be healthy? I think it's pretty obvious that he's playing at this point, as he's practiced a majority of the snaps for the team. And this is on Thursday night, so they have one more practice to go, walkthroughs, and then that'll be it. And I think Mahomes will probably play on Sunday. But, you know, there's been kind of some conflicting reports about what the injury it is. The team, you know, they hesitated to call it a concussion. They say more so Mahomes got the wind knocked out of him, right? So Mahomes will still have to pass concussion protocol from what it sounds like, but he's been passing all of his tests, it sounds like, as well. So, and he passed the initial testing at the stadium too. But, you know, if the NFL were to ever bend the concussion protocol rules for one of its players anyway, it would be this weekend with Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship game. I mean, come on, guys. But even if Mahomes weren't to play, I think they could still win this game with Chad Henne. I really do, seeing as he was able to pull it out against the Browns, especially with Chad Henne's back against the wall. You know, he made the right plays when he needed to, even despite his ugly interception. But yeah, I think Mahomes is going to play. I think he'll be healthy. Not only do you need him healthy enough to play, but you need him healthy enough to play good. You know, just based on videos I've seen from him practicing and stuff, I think he'll be fine. That's the number one key to the game, is a healthy Mahomes, and as long as you had that, I think the Chiefs will be fine. Next, Frank Clark. Oh, Frank Clark. He's been a massive disappointment this year. And you know what? I'm just going to read this paragraph word for word that I wrote on Frank Clark. Here we go. Well, here we are. It's the playoffs, and all the fans who put their eggs in the just wait for playoff Frank Clark basket are starting to run out of time and excuses for Clark. I'm not sure Clark had a single pressure against the Cleveland Browns. He finished with 1.5 tackles yesterday and nothing else. The Chiefs needed their pass rush to step up for this game, and they really didn't. Let me tell you just how embarrassing the Cleveland performance was for Clark. The Browns were on their third-string left tackle on last Sunday. This third-string left tackle was on the Jets practice squad earlier this season. The Jets practice squad, guys. This third-string Jets practice squad left tackle shut down Frank Clark in the pass rush game. It's as simple as that. Frank Clark has been a massive disappointment all year, and his time is quickly running out to make an impact. A lot of fans have started to turn on Chris Jones, it seems, but what people don't realize is Jones is still wrecking plays and taking on frequent double teams that fans like to claim Clark is facing. No. Clark is bottom third in the league in double team rate among starting defensive ends, and he is also bottom third in the league in double team win rate. He just has a relatively low win rate all across the board. See, people love to talk about Frank Clark in last year's postseason. They're like, Frank Clark, the Shark, the closer, he was a beast in the playoffs. Just wait till the playoffs. I might get killed for this, but I really thought Frank Clark's postseason run last year was pretty overrated, because if you go back and look, 3 of his 5 sacks were in the late in the fourth quarter when the Chiefs were up by more than 2 touchdowns. Okay, like especially that last Texans one where he sacked Deshaun Watson with like 2 minutes left and it was a 20-point game. Like, why was Clark even playing in the game? He shouldn't have been in the game. It's just, he still had a relatively low win rate for that postseason anyways on his snaps, so I'm not impressed. And this lack of an edge presence allows offenses to focus their attention on the Chiefs' only real threat in the defensive line, Chris Jones. And a lot of people will point to Frank Clark's run defense and the way he played the screen against the Cleveland Browns. Frank Clark only started playing the line of scrimmage once he realized he couldn't beat this Jets practice squad left tackle. Like, you can slice or dice it however you want. Maybe Clark had a good game outside of pass rushing, but you paid him $100 million to be a good pass rusher, not to just be a good run defender or whatever. And his run defense grade this year has been pretty poor as well. Moving on. If the Chiefs want to win this Sunday, Frank Clark stepping up has to be part of it. It has to. If not, there will be serious questions about that acquisition going into this offseason. The Chiefs need to establish the run. We all remember the Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills 26-17 in Week 6 earlier this year, and anyone who watched that game knows it felt like a blowout with the way the Chiefs were able to dominate the ground game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 161 yards rushing in that game. It was one of the best rushing performances of the Andy Reid era in Kansas City. And, even Darrell Williams proved to be a good running back against the Browns. He was very good. Darrell Williams had 78 yards rushing in that game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire only had 3 games with 75 or more rushing yards. And I think that just goes to show how irresponsible the Clyde Edwards-Helaire pick in the first round was when you have guys like Darrell Williams putting up games like that. But that's a whole nother story. You can debate that with me in the comments if you want, whatever. But I think the Chiefs' running game looked really good last week. It looked really good against the Bills. So if they can carry that momentum again into the Bills game, I think they'll have a really good chance now. In the last matchup, the Bills did not have Matt Milano, who is very important to that defense, and I'm not sure how big of a difference that'll make, but the Chiefs still need to try and get the run game going if they really want to win this game handily. And Le'Veon Bell didn't practice today with a knee injury, and that makes me feel like that same knee injury, because he had this knee injury lingering for a little while now. I think he injured it in the Falcons game. But the Darrell Williams snaps last week told me Le'Veon Bell still isn't healthy. A lot of people are saying maybe the coaching staff just doesn't trust him all that much, and maybe that's true too. But I thought Le'Veon Bell has looked very impressive this year and has done a very good job making something out of nothing on a lot of plays, even despite the terrible run blocking. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs have a good enough rushing attack to try and chip away, chunk plays against this Bills defense. The Bills rush defense isn't all that impressive. I think the Chiefs need to establish the run game in some shape or form if they want to win this game. Next one, Harrison Butker. He's struggled this year. He still has a very good success rate at field goals, but his extra points have been horrible this year. And if you can't, extra points are half the job. You have to be able to kick them. And it seemed at one point that he had fixed the kicking woes. But if you count the missed extra point from the Browns game, that gives Butker 7 on the year, right? And I believe that ties the most missed extra points in a single season in the Super Bowl era. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it ties the record. He has to be better. He just has to. And he actually left 4 points on the board in the Browns game, missing a field goal and an extra point. Had he made the field goal, that game wouldn't have been a panic attack at the end. It would, like, that whole Chad Henne little getting us the first down and stuff like that wouldn't have had to happen if we had not missed that field goal earlier in the game. But Chad Henne saved Harrison Butker. But, this might be a knee-jerk reaction, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs bring in a kicker to compete with Butker next camp, just because, quite frankly, this is getting ridiculous with the missed kicks and stuff, the missed chip shots. But the Chiefs need Butker to be on point to win this game, too. In a game that could be decided by individual little points, Butker has got to be better. And then the last one I have is just the defense needs to do its job. We saw last time when these two teams faced, Josh Allen, who's been on fire lately, only had a $120 passing against this defense, and that was without L'Jarius Sneed, who has been the Chiefs' best cornerback this year. It's not even close. And Stephon Diggs only had like 40 yards. I think Cole Beasley was somewhere around the same number. And those guys are both pretty much, I mean, they're both essentially 1,000-yard receivers this year. If the Chiefs can keep them in check like that again, they will run away with this game because the Bills, they've got to put up points. You got to put up at least 30 if you want to beat this Chiefs team. You just have to. And honestly, last week against the Ravens, I wasn't all that impressed with the Bills. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but the Bills just didn't impress me at all. Anyways, I thought Josh Allen overthrew a lot of passes, and really their only true source of offense in that game was their defense, and I don't think their defense will be able to play that well again versus Patrick Mahomes. I just don't. And I'm not even trying to be one of those annoying Chiefs fans that think Mahomes is like the Lord, the Savior that can do no wrong and all this stuff that, you know, like he's the only player on the team. I hate being that kind of fan, but I mean, it's true. I mean, you've got to put up at least 30 if you want to beat a Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs team. You just do, especially in the playoffs. And in fact, last week against the Cleveland Browns was the first time the Chiefs didn't score at least 31 in a playoff game, which I found fascinating. But yeah, you guys get my point. The Chiefs, they got to play good defense, and I think they will play good defense. I don't think they'll force the Bills to get, you know, basically zero production from their stars of the offense again. But, you know, if let's say they keep Josh Allen to like 200 yards passing and a couple touchdowns, like they can still win if Allen has that kind of game, you know. But also another thing you have to consider is Zach Moss, who the Bills were relying on a little later into the year. He went down. They don't have him anymore. They won't have him for the rest of the playoffs, and he was becoming a bigger part of their offense as the season went on, and so they're not going to have him either. Excuse me. So yeah, you know, this is still a little bit of a test for the defense. I think the Bills have a very well-rounded team, and the Bills kind of remind me of the 2018 Chiefs when they, you know, kind of had their coming out party with Patrick Mahomes, and they just fell short against the Patriots. The Bills kind of give me that vibe. You know, they're kind of this media darling, this team that's being propped up by the media that's going on their big Cinderella run, but they're just not quite there yet. And they're a really good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a very well-rounded team. I actually respect the Bills a ton. If I wasn't a Chiefs fan, I'd probably be a Bills fan. I love everything about them. I love their uniforms. I love the organization. They have an incredible fan base, all that good stuff. But I think this is the Chiefs' year once again, and I think the Bills aren't quite there yet. They're getting there, but they're not quite there yet. So I got the Chiefs this weekend. Let me know what you guys agree with, what you disagree with. Make sure you check out www.showmefootball.com. Also follow me on Twitter at showmefb. But that's all I got for today, guys. So until next time, peace.